Hey, today I'm going to do an updated review of my Titan T3 rack. Hey, this is Greg with Discovering Strength, a channel focused on fitness tips, product reviews, and occasionally a how-to for the average guy or girl trying to get in shape through strength training. If you like what you see, consider subscribing below. Okay, so I've had my Titan T3 rack now for almost 2 years. And when I initially got it, I did do a review on it. You can check out that video at the link above. But today, I wanted to do an updated review to let you know what I think of it almost 2 years later. All right, so first of all, it's really hard to beat the value for money on the T3 rack. While it has increased in price over time, the main point of comparison here is comparing the T3 rack to Rogue's R3 rack. Now, comparing this to the Rogue R3 rack, this rack is basically $400 cheaper. As of filming, you'll find the T3 rack for about $560. And just to note that the version that I have is the 24-inch depth version. It also comes in a 36-inch depth version, and that's gonna cost you another $40. But that price also includes shipping, which you won't find through Rogue. Looking at the Rogue website, it was quoting me at shipping for about $125, which I live in Florida for a point of reference. So it's also worth noting that over the last 2 years, Titan has cut back on the extras that used to be included with the rack. So when I purchased this, I was able to get it with the pin and pipe safeties and also the band pegs. And I almost forgot that it also came with the plate storage pegs that I've got on the side of my rack. Despite all that, it's still much cheaper than Rogue. And like I mentioned, through Titan, it's always free shipping. So that's definitely another thing I like about the rack and about Titan Fitness in general, is you're always gonna get free shipping. I love how solid this rack is. For the first year or so that I owned it, I didn't even bolt it to the ground, and I felt like it was super sturdy. It barely budged. When I built my lifting platform, that's when I attached the rack to the platform, because that was much easier than attaching it to the concrete floor. And you know, it's super solid now, but it was just really as solid before I bolted it to the ground. But you will see on the Titan website that they say you should bolt it to the ground, and I'm sure that that's a liability issue. So the T3 rack is also a pretty big upgrade over Titan's T2 rack. It really comes down to the quality of steel that they use in this. The Titan T2 rack has 2x2 inch tubing, and it's all 12 gauge steel. Whereas this Titan T3 rack is 2x3 inch steel tubing, and it's 11 gauge steel. And for those of you who may not be aware, the lower the number for the gauge of the steel, the thicker it is. So, you know, this is pretty significantly thicker than 12 gauge. Now, I have used the T2 rack as well, and it's pretty noticeable the difference between the T2 and the T3. So lastly, I really love just how versatile this rack is. It's basically Titan's flagship model, and you can get lots of different attachments. It's also interchangeable with the Rogue attachments for the R3, so you can do a lot with this rack. So I think anybody would mention that, you know, we're not a big fan of the price increase. I bought this about 2 years ago for about $400, and now it's almost $200 more. But that's just the, you know, the COVID environment we're in. The price of home gym equipment has increased. Overall, I really love the Titan T3 rack. I don't think you can go wrong with purchasing this rack. Like I said, you really have to compare this against the Rogue R3 rack. And when comparing it against that rack, it's an incredible value for money, and I think the quality is really identical. I have no issues with the quality of this rack. I will say that if you have the space for it in your gym, I would definitely recommend getting the 36-inch depth version. I don't have that myself because I'm in a small one-car garage, but it would definitely be nice to have a little bit more room to work inside the rack. All right, so that does it for the updated review of the Titan T3 rack. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or what you think of the video, and we'll see you next time.